All right, peeps, welcome. Harmless D here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about stuff that I want to talk about. Somewhat music oriented, somewhat media oriented, somewhat to dealing with the culture and so forth. And it's all rolled into one just irresistible presentation right here on the Harmless Dave channel, doing what I do in real time for a few real people just like you there and like me here. Remember, you could support this channel if you want to. It's all up to you. It's not up to me. There's Patreon, there's Buy Me a Coffee, there's YouTube memberships, and the world famous PJ Rock Super Chat. Okay, so the Buy Me a Coffee is my favorite because I love getting those messages that so and so has bought me a coffee. It really puts a little spring in my step. And because I like coffee so much, that also puts a spring in my step. So if you missed it last night, Bruce Springsteen was on with Jimmy Kimmel. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that amazing? So predictable. Of course, I know Springsteen has this biopic. You can't go anywhere without someone telling you that it's coming to theaters this month, not until toward the end of the month. But we needed a month to keep talking about it and talking about it again. And if people get tired of hearing about it, Springsteen is going to do the rounds, I guess, on some of these shows. And of course, he went on with his pal, Jimmy Kimmel. And this is the way Parade magazine reports this, okay? Parade, which you would think is kind of an entertainment rag. It's not really that political. Bruce Springsteen makes poignant statement about government censorship during Jimmy Kimmel Live. Springsteen was a guest on Kimmel's late night show just weeks after it was briefly suspended by ABC. Has it been weeks already? Time flies when nobody notices stuff like Jimmy Kimmel Live. So apparently the Born to Run singer didn't shy away from commenting on the recent controversy. Though he was there to promote his new biopic, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Please deliver me from this boring album called Nebraska. The rock music icon was asked to give his take on the current state of the nation, specifically to share a positive and uplifting outlook with the crowd. Now, this is supposed to be your working man's artist, right? He's supposed to relate to flyover country. Does he relate to flyover country, say, better than, I don't know, Oliver Anthony? Has anyone heard of Oliver Anthony? I mean, he doesn't even use all of this old school media. I mean, if they asked him to go on, he'd probably give them the middle digit and say, nah, I'm not going on with you. You know, he just uploads a song to YouTube and it gets like 1 billion views or whatever. That's the way you do it. And then the record label's banging on his door and he's saying, no, not selling out to you people. I love that guy, Oliver Anthony. If you haven't heard his stuff, go check it out. He's like the anti-Bruce Springsteen, all right? Springsteen wishes he was, well, he doesn't wish anything because he's Bruce Springsteen. He's worth almost $1 billion. So he doesn't really care. Anyway, Jimmy Kimmel basically slobbers all over this guy and says this: you've spoken very beautifully, I think, about the state of this country and the world, says Kimmel. And I was wondering, before you wrap up here, if you had anything positive to share with us, to inspire us, because not too many people do. So apparently nobody can inspire us. Why don't you have like Tony Robbins on the show? Why don't you have a pastor or somebody who is inspirational? I mean, there's got to be someone to inspire us. You mean only Bruce Springsteen can bail us out of this malaise that we are in because Trump is president? These people, they really do have TDS. I mean, Biden was a complete train wreck. I didn't wake up in the morning, though, and go, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? See, I live in the free state of Florida. So if you live in a good state, it's not a big deal. I didn't like what he was doing, and I was hoping that, Psalm 109 verse 8 would come true. But, and eventually it did. So it all worked out. But anyway, these people, I guess it's like red alert, crisis, emergency. They could follow Rosie O'Donnell over to Ireland. Maybe Kimmel could set up shop there and do his live show from Ireland. I don't think people would mind. And, it would be a boost to the Irish economy. So why not do it? Or it might be a boost. It may not. It might be a disaster for the Irish economy. I don't know. Anyway, Springsteen, who is 76 years old, for some reason they have to put his age in here, then joked that Kimmel was putting him on the spot because he asked him to say something inspiring. Please, Bruce, help us. Please, Forrest, say something inspiring. And this is what Springsteen had to say. 50 years, I've been kind of a musical ambassador for America. Or should I do it in the Springsteen voice? I've been kind of a musical ambassador for America. Around the world, I have this song, Land of Open Dreams, which is kind of a prayer to the country, and we play it every night to millions of people. All right, I'm tired of doing the Springsteen. He goes on to say, I know for a fact that that's how many people around the world still see our country. They still see it as the land of open dreams. In fact, some see it even more as the land of open dreams right now. That's why businesses are coming back here to open up shop, because they see our country making a comeback, at least economically speaking. Not as a land of fear. Oh, I slipped back into it. Not as a land of divisiveness. Not of government censorship. Not of hatred. He went on to say, while asserting, I basically believe that that's an America worth fighting for. So what's Bruce Springsteen, what does he do to fight for America? He goes on late night talk shows. He says crazy stuff on foreign soil. I mean, so Springsteen this is kind of like June is. This is Springsteen month. I mean, it's all going to be about Springsteen, his biopic. I mean, I'm sure he'll be on with Stephen Colbert soon, and I'm sure the other guy, Jimmy Fallon, will have him on. And is Conan still around? Maybe he'll have him on. I don't know. I don't think he'll be on Gutfeld. Thank the Lord for that. And it says here, again, because it's Parade magazine, and they're typically not very political, but they have to say this when this whole thing concludes. They have to add their 2 cents. A vocal critic of Donald Trump, that's President Trump, you people, and his administration, Springsteen's mention of government censorship seemed to be an indirect message about Kimmel off the air, a decision that is widely believed to have been influenced by pressure from the FCC. Yeah, and there was no mention of the comments so far about Charlie Kirk and how the affiliates decided to pull the plug. They didn't talk about that here. It's interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Kimmel's show was suspended indefinitely by Disney. And by the way, they turned that around the next day. In mid-September, due to comments the host made about the death of conservative podcaster Charlie Kirk. He's just a conservative podcaster. That's all he was. And by the way, it wasn't about the death. It was about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. See what they do with the language? And if you're not paying attention, this happens all the time, and you read something, you go, wait. Somebody shot him in the neck. It wasn't just a random death. They weren't just comments. They were insensitive comments, but they didn't put that word in here. There's so much bias. Even if you don't like Trump, you've got to admit there's bias, and it's biased all in the other direction, okay? And I guarantee you, if this were a walrus with an R on their chest, and they were as inoffensive as, I don't know, the most mild-mannered person you can think of, all right? Burl Ives, okay? He kind of looked a little bit like a walrus. I think of non-offensive people. For some reason, I think of Burl Ives, right? The great singer. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Who's offended by Burl Ives? If Burl Ives was a Republican and he was running the country, he would be deemed Satan. He would be called Hitler. These people are unhinged. I'm sorry. They're not well, and they need to get medical attention. That's the God honest truth. I don't understand how you wake up every day and think to yourself, what are we going to do? How are we going to cope? Can I go out? Can I go outside? Could I travel? It's like, just continue with your life. At least you're not locked down right now. That's an encouraging thing. If that ever happens again, they'll probably celebrate. Yes, we need lockdowns. I might like Trump if he locks us down again. That would be good. That's one of the things I don't like about Trump, is that he locked us down. But I'm thinking he'll never do that again. If he does, wow, that would be really bad. Anyway, they go on to say his show was reinstated just days later, returning to its usual late night time. Yeah. So that censorship was really brutal, huh? That FCC, they really cracked down on Kimmel, letting him return a couple days later, and it wasn't him. It was Disney that made that decision. These people make it sound like Trump is in the White House pressing little buttons. Okay, take Kimmel off the air now. If he had that kind of power, that would be kind of interesting. Well, Dave, he might pull the plug on your show. You didn't like Operation Warp Speed. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking Trump would probably keep me on the air. Just a random thought. I think he would say something like, "Yeah, I don't always agree with him, but he's an equal opportunity offender most of the time. All right, I'm for the normal party. I'm not for the Republican Party, not for the Democrat Party. That's for damn sure. I'm for the normal party. Okay, so if you're a normal person who believes in normal things like normal biology, normal rates of taxation, normal government intrusion into your life, which should be low, minimal, almost zero, right? If you believe in normal things, then you're part of the normal party. You just don't know it, and you should lobby your state officials to get the normal party on the ballot. Someone said, well, Dave, the normal party is MAGA. You know what? I don't trust anybody. I just don't. It's just something that is going on with me, is I don't trust people that say that they're MAGA. I don't trust people that say that they're Q, whatever that is. Remember that whole scary thing? And they're still out there making all these crazy predictions, Just stop making predictions and do something with your life. Go outside. Enjoy spending time with your family. Get a hobby. Listen to some good music, right? There is good music to listen to. And, that's what I like to talk about sometimes on this show. So anyway, politics do suck. And I don't know. We're going to get a month of Bruce Springsteen promoting his new biopic. And then we're going to hear about how many people watched it and how amazing that was. Or who knows, maybe nobody will watch it. I am not going to be watching it. I'm not that interested. Okay, just not that interested. Some people, though, they're music junkies and they'll watch it because they want an education on the real inside story on Springsteen. So good luck. Enjoy. Anyway, thanks for watching this. I know this is a little tedious. Not quite as tedious as a biopic, but it's getting there. So gotta go. Adios, amigos. I'll be back soon, so stay tuned for more exciting content right here on the Harmless Dave channel.